And on that note, I am not feeling super stunning, so bear with me. So this is All of Us Sinners Season 3, Episode 7.
Indeed.
This episode is called The Lord is My Shepherd. And when last we left, we had found ourselves in Brooklyn at the abandoned Church of the Redeemer, where we had just met a young lady with blood on her face named Shava. When last we had left, she had introduced herself, and I believe that was where we left the scene, in an underground sort of office with the door that from the stairway that led in, sparsely furnished sort of thing, and two other doors that you don't know where they go. So as she regards you all with her pale, pale eyes, her face blank, her posture statuesque,
not exactly what was expected. There's a connotation for these sorts of things. Taking that you know who we all are, considering your man servant asked for us, as we are. So you understand we need your assistance if there is to be had.
Oh yes, you are seeking shelter, respite from the growing storm on the island of Manhattan, correct?
Not all of
them,
but yeah. I'm looking for an alternative to the mess that we're in.
We provide many things here. I think that is within our purview.
We do have other business to attend, so if this is something that has to be happening immediately, I beg your indulgence for a bit. There's a package we need to see get where it needs to get.
She almost smiles at you kind of wistfully as she turns to regard you and you alone and says, other business.
The opportunity of getting here to alight in your presence was purchased by service of something else. Motioning toward the case.
I see. And what assurance do I have that you will not return with violence? And she just kind of trails off at that.
Kind of a strange question. We came seeking you, not for any nefarious means, but we're told that you could perhaps be something other than the incipient chaos to which we are seeking to reach escape velocity. You're outside of the family struggle that may be over between several blue bloods, to which some of us have bartered our little bits of soul left. And, well, I got so little soul left that I don't really have it in me to barter or half step or simply accept that things are as they are. I can't speak for everybody. I wouldn't even attempt to. But you, to me, from my lips to God's ear, I am here in every bit of unvarnished, direct honesty that I have within me.
Well, many have sought me as of late, most with less than purity in their hearts and souls. But from your lips to God's ears, I will have to take that at face value.
Thank you for that.
She turns to look at the other two.
Penny is just standing noticeably off to the side, arms crossed, not particularly interacting.
When you rent a car, they make you leave something usually as collateral so that they know that you will return it in the manner that you got it. So maybe that can be somewhat of an assurance besides his word, which is very important to him. When he gives you his word, that is what he means. But just to sweeten the pot, maybe we can leave something that's collateral.
She smiles slowly, says, I don't believe he would bear false witness, especially not invoking the name of the holy.
Nah, I mean what I say. Not in me to be socially deceivious.
She kind of takes a couple steps towards Penny, both of her hands kind of outstretched. Says, you, my dear, you seem to have trepidations.
Only insofar that it was an arduous journey to get here. Her eyes will flick over at the other two just for a moment.
Not to interject, but we are having a bit of a spat. I believe in blatant honesty and directness. She's having an issue with me having presented as such, and she's only here begrudgingly because your manservant requested her presence for us to get here together.
She continues to move towards Penny with both her hands outstretched. And says, I bear you no malice, child.
Oh no, it's not you I'm concerned about.
So you believe that I bear you malice? I don't even know you. You can't hate something that you don't know. It's nonsensical.
Do you take her hands, Penny?
Yeah, she will take her hands.
Okay. So, as you take her hands and there's skin on skin contact, there's almost like a soft electrical jolt. She feels warm, and suddenly, as if a wave transferring from her to you, you feel warm.
And he will arch an eyebrow.
It's been a very long time, but it almost feels as if the sun radiating on your skin when you were alive. She kind of smiles at you as she regards you, watching whatever reaction that you were giving to this. Says, I wish you no malice, as I stated, John. There are many things I can offer.
She will lower her eyebrow, tilt her head to the side slightly. As I said, it's not you that I am concerned about.
You can almost hear the children in the park laughing, the cars whizzing by on a Sunday afternoon as the sun warms you, and not in the way that it has the last couple decades, but in a reassuring sort of way. How does that make Penny feel? Do we see any sort of reaction?
He is keeping a very schooled reaction.
She breaks contact with one hand and kind of caresses your cheek lightly with the touch of her fingers, and you just feel very serene as the skin drags along your cheek. And then she breaks all contact, and it almost leaves you feeling a little empty.
And he will lean her weight back to one leg and go back to having her arms crossed.
Shaba turns to look at Finn and says, I see the burden she can be, her heart closed to possibilities and experiences.
I don't mind that aspect. Everybody's got to keep their own counsel. But yes, it's not the closed off, it's the dishonesty. At a point in my existence, I really didn't fucking care who or what was in my cipher. At a point in time, it didn't matter who was cooperatively available. But I'm not that same kid anymore. I'm not that same ne'er-do-well. Still a ne'er-do-well, but just a different sort of beast. And the transparency amongst those inside the cipher is the standard. No transparency means no honesty. No No honesty means no trust. No trust means that you are simply waiting for the blade to appear. Now, a smart person, a standard New Yorker, for instance, if you know somebody got a blade, whether they use it or not, you're going to act accordingly. I don't enjoy that sort of antagonistic relationships. So it's just better to leave what was where it was and move forward, knowing that that person has a blade.
I see. And what would it take to inspire trust among you and your comrades?
Well, we've already offered several olive branches. The fact that we are here, partially because we have no choice in the matter, but partially because, well, as you say, if we were other individuals who had been hunting you out, being here with anyone who you can't trust is, in fact, offering a mountain of trust. Friends are just a transparency.
Penny's lips will turn up into a little tiny smirk. Amusing that you speak of trust when I invited you into my home, my sacred space, and you murdered someone.
Doesn't mean anything inviting someone into your home if you don't trust them. If you do it for everybody, it doesn't have any value. So
no, I don't invite just anyone in.
Name one person that you've met that you haven't had in your apartment. Have you had the sheriff in your space? Have you had members of the Primogen in your space? Have you had your co-workers, your employees in your space? They don't demand anything of you. They don't require anything of you. It's a one-sided engagement. I'm not looking for a one-sided engagement. I'm looking for act.
And what right do you have to know who I was when I drew breath? That person is dead, for the safety of several people.
Maybe
yours included.
Maybe they are, maybe they're not. You've got to prove that. You've already established a distance. We don't matter. You keep everybody at arm's distance. You are unforthcoming with a simple, direct answer of what to do or what you would like to do. You don't share. You shut down. Look at where you're standing now. You close off. You have picked the retorts and you don't express nor share. And therein lies the problem. Chaos is chaos. If you are an associate and you are a friend, if you are a working associate, trust is given automatically because there's a transparency of action. No matter what you do, we know it's going to work out because you're going to do your job. If we can't require or understand that you can do your job, if everyone's at arm's distance, nothing has any value, that means we don't have any value, which requires you to actually open up and communicate instead of inscrutable side mouth retorts. Little bits of, well, I didn't say that. No, but you insinuated it. Speak honestly, speak directly, say what it is between us. Whether we fight it out, cry it out, hug it out, or shoot it out is between us as equals. As long as you keep everyone else as a non-equal or non-entity, it's on them to accept it, and I don't.
I've never asked you to accept it.
No, but
I've told you who I am.
No, you haven't.
This is who I am.
And you keep everyone.
The person I was dead.
Doesn't matter who you were. You said they're dead. That doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And I asked you directly, several instances. And if all we have is inscrutability, an unstated fact, so be it. If you want more than that from me, I can't speak for Rick. You have to give it at this point. And as long as you are closed off, shut down, uncooperative, uncommunicative, you will receive that and less back in kind. Fair trade ain't never theft. So if it means something, say it. Let me know, because then that's what you'll get back. But as it means nothing, that's what you get back as well.
As this whole exchange is going on, Shava just kind of watches Lyric.
What I would see with Lyric is she's watching Shin and Penny kind of like back and forth, but there is this tiredness on her face of, I'm so sick of this shit. And she's kind of staying out of it because if she steps into it, it's not going to be words. So,
Penny will.
she's kind
Penny will
of keeping
shrug.
herself.
Just
Continue.
Penny will shrug one shoulder at Finn. And what was it that you promised in my home to convince the spirits to leave your beloved?
Everything that was necessary.
And everything that chased me away from my home.
You got chased away because you didn't fulfill your end of the bargain. I said I would help you. You never made any moves. You never told me what you wanted to do. I told it that I would help the owner, which is you. You didn't do anything. You didn't communicate, so therefore I didn't do anything. I promised to assist you, the owner. You didn't communicate. We are here because of that. You got chased away? Not my problem. I was forthright and very transparent in what I promised. Everything.
Except the spirit was not communicating with me.
Doesn't matter. I was very clear. I would help the owner. You lived there with the damn thing for how long?
And it was quite quiet until a person was killed.
Is that the only person ever killed in your place, or is that the only divine soul that hadn't been punished by you or scared by you that died in your place? You mean to tell me that in however long you've been in there, no one's ever died? Feeding it slightly, a little bit at a time? And if you say that it's not worth the value of everything for something that matters, again, say it. Or don't.
You can believe as you wish, as you have always done, regardless of what anyone has said.
What have you said? Tell me one thing that you said directly to me. Just one. Not hinted. Not made a decision and it was immediately backed. Not made a play that was counted on. But what did you say? You may not like the fact that I'm communicative, that I'm very forthright with that, but you can never say that I have not told you on multiple occasions, both in jest and in fact, where I stand. You never have to question. You never have to worry about that. What have you told me?
Lyric looks at their host. If you're going to back out, now would be the time. This is what you're dealing with. This is it. This is what we are. So if you're gonna have any doubts or hesitations as to helping us, this is as bad as it gets. So take that into consideration, please.
Oh, child, it is nothing but broken and tormented souls that find their way here. It's in our nature to be duplicitous. Each of us are born into hunger and murder. We cannot help what we are. Cannot help what that makes us do.
Penny will uncross her arms and place her hands on her hips. I believe I said a few days ago that everyone stays at arm length because it's safer for the heart. Tell me where I've been untruthful in that statement.
Will your honesty ever actually matter? If nothing ever matters, everyone stays at arm's length for the safety of the heart. Whose heart? As she just said, we are duplicitous, devious things. We are broken. We are empty voids. In other words, we hurt like every other thing on this planet. You decide who you hurt for. And right now, you hurt for no one but yourself. And yeah, that's one thing. Congratulations. We have one thing that you've actually stated directly. And it was the most hurtful thing you could hear from a co-worker. No, everyone's at arm's distance. Everything the same value. A flat circle of nothing mattering. Cool.
I would also like to point out that when you said everybody is at arm's length, nobody else knew that but you. We were working with you under the assumption that we were all equal on the same fucking level. If we all were supposed to be at arm's length, then we should have known that from the beginning, so that we could all treat each other accordingly, instead of half of us wanting closeness and trust and the other half not. So, yeah, okay, you said arm's length later, after everything else had happened, when we needed trust, when we offered trust, and now that's burned to the fucking ground.
And he will once again shrug. Anyway, we're here. What is it that we can do for you? As I'm here as a courtesy. Because, let's be honest, I did not have to come to enable this meeting for you.
Who is Penny speaking to?
Just in general.
Finn takes a moment, looks at himself, looks at Rick, looks at Shaba. You know, I know I don't have to. I know that it probably won't be appreciated, but I'm gonna buy you a dictionary and a thesaurus to go with it, like one of those big unabridged versions, you know, the ones that you take up like 1.5 feet of space by itself. There's a non-connotative definition to the word direct. That wasn't it. It's more of the same indirect, inscrutable, not saying something, not communicating to anyone. Just putting it out there to be plucked out of the ether. Like a contagion. Do you see the difference in being told everyone's at arm's distance? You stating things, pithy retorts tossed off like bon mots. Or better yet, like viral infections. Instead of taking a step so that he's firmly planted directly in front of her. Speaking to each other. Direct communication. We ain't gotta like each other, but we have to have an understanding as to what the communication is. Tossing it out to the ether so you can deny that you said something, or play the edges and play the angles. That's for outside of anyone inside a circle of trust. Not the circle of trust, but a circle of trust. Direct communication. Otherwise, as per usual, when dealing with kindred, all of the petty little hurts build up over time and fester. And before you know it, that blade that you were keeping at arm's distance is far closer than it needs to be. Instead of the petty little annoyances and the get-backs of interpersonal communication, you get the large acts of duplicity. Then you get to tell yourself, that's the reason why I keep everybody at arm's distance. It's not politically savvy to do that. is not beneficial to you nor anyone else. Indirect communication are for enemies. Arm's distance is still too close if you're trying to protect yourself from hurt. Everything hurts. Who you hurt for is what matters. Direct communication. JJ. And takes a step back. And Shaba, we appreciate your efforts, your time, and all that you've already done for us. I do have to make this delivery. I want to thank you for this pain. Because I can't imagine that we are the most kind of house guest.
I've had worse. I see that I can help you in many ways. But go in peace. Attend to your errand. My protection will be here if you want it. And if not...
Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your offer. And I will return as quickly as possible. This is a matter of honor. We have to make sure that it gets where it needs to get to. And I'll be back.
She nods her head slightly, almost smiles a fangy sort of smile as she kind of fades from existence.
That is a neat
Penny will drop a little bow in the direction that she disappeared into. Your hospitality was appreciated. And she will turn around and walk out.
Derek kind of slowly turns in a circle looking around her, looking for the lady that disappeared. That is fucking creepy. And then she follows him.
There is a syncretized aspect of Volden that syncs along with all of the Catholic iconography. Small prayer and crossing of the stations, and then leaves.
All right, so you head back up the stairway. It goes back into the church, which, as I had stated before, but for as a refresher, it is very obviously a abandoned sort of church. There are little pieces of debris here and there, some garbage, some dripping. It's not at all well lit, just a few candles. You are able to pass through what was once a rather large Catholic church, out the front door and back into the street. The two men that were there are no longer there. So you are just kind of left staring into the night sky in front of this ominous looking church and at each other.
While Finn remembers, because it was only a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago for him, it has been 7 very long days. I forget exactly where this briefcase is to be delivered.
You were supposed to leave it at Sadie's.
Back to Sadie's. Well, I guess we're off to Rick, we gotta get the Sadie's. You want to take the train, or should we hail a cab from here?
Yeah, it's more direct and quicker. I don't feel like dealing with the bums right now.
Understandable.
And if I remember correctly, JJ rode a motorcycle over by herself.
He did.
Such a rebel.
Daddy never liked them.
To the great wide open.
So, as might be expected, late at night, it is not at all easy to hail a cab in front of an abandoned church.
Well, I suppose we gotta hoof it a little bit. Get out of this neck of the woods so that we can get around civilized individuals.
As you are all leaving the immediate area in whatever mode of transportation you are choosing, either by foot or by motorcycle, you all get that creepy, eerie feeling that you are being watched. Which probably is not at all surprising, even though it is a bit creepy.
Well, Rick, you're picking up what they're putting down. You have an idea as to where they are, or we're gonna get hit with that 2x4 again. And by we, of course, you know I mean me.
Rick, you sense a handful of predators in the area, but they're kind of spread out. It doesn't seem like they're being overly malicious, they're just there.
It's a loose circle right now, not too tight. We can mostly lead around them, but it's kind of lazy hunting, I guess you'd say. Kind of like with lions. They've eaten already, they could eat again, but not necessarily want to chase whatever it is they're going to eat. So we should be okay.
Well, you know, okay, we'll have to do. Not that I got much say in that matter or in that regard either way, but so honest impression about what situation we're moving into, everything being equal.
Let's see how long it stays that way, I guess. But she seems like a good ally to have. I mean, anybody that can disappear while you're staring right at him, that's gotta be powerful.
That's a cool thing. I need to figure out how with the juju she was tapping into to do that. Be a very helpful and handy trait.
Indeed. So Lyric will kind of point out a path of least resistance, I guess, for where she feels the predatory energy.
Yeah, you were able to skirt through it. Like I said, it's not really closing in on you, it just is there. Probably some of it is watching you, but it seems more the recognition of another predator in the area and less malicious. Penny, where are you going and how and all that?
Oh, she's going to take a ride by her old stomping grounds and, ride by the fam and ride by the shop. Go vaguely homish, make arrangements to spend the day in a hotel. While, her newest acquisition gets put in order.
Okay, well, all of that for you is uneventful. Riding by the fam, it is quiet tonight. There's no domestic violence that you are immediately aware of. Everyone seems to be snug in their beds at this hour. Lyric and Finn, once they get onto a main thoroughfare, it takes a minute because you are in Brooklyn, not the hustle bustle of Manhattan, but you are able to find a cab soon enough. And where exactly are you guys going?
We can get this to Sadie so that we can relight and get back to what little protection is available.
All right. Well, you know one of Sadie's addresses, which seems to be the one she uses the most in Chelsea there. It is an uneventful drive back across the bridge. It is slow as always, because the bridge is always slow. And you get there, and it is the same as it ever is.
As we get out of the cab, Lyric looks at Finn. So are we gonna just drop it and go, or do we want to see what's in it? I.e., have her open it in front of us. What are we doing?
I don't think it'd be right to half-ass it after our little previous conversation. So I guess we're going to have to make sure that she opens it as quickly as possible so that we can get on with the get-on, as it were.
Okay, fair enough. I guess that's what we're doing. And they will, I guess, head into the building.
All right, so you walk up the steps to the brownstone. You ring the bell. Takes a moment, but you are shown in. You hear some arguing in the upstairs of the apartment, some yelling back and forth, then some slamming doors.
Seems like your friend Baby Doll's in residence.
Potentially, yeah.
You'd know that voice anywhere. There's the soft sound of something crashing, and then some more yelling, and then Sadie comes stomping down the stairs with a less than amused look on her face. She looks you all over, and looks back up the stairs for a moment, then pointedly rolls her eyes and says, "Kids."
Indubitably. You know, I really like that word. We were instructed to make sure you got this. You do us the honor of sitting in some place so that you can check and make sure that what's inside is for you, so that we can assure on our word of honor that we not only half-assed it, but make sure that it reached its the person who was supposed to receive it.
She looks at you all, and in her emotional state that she is currently in, her mask is not fully in place, so she gives you a look that is a combination of suspicion and then also, ooh, pretty for me. And she steps forward and extends her hand to take the case. Taking it, she... Go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, were you expecting something, or I mean, it's not like this is like an AliExpress or Temu sort of situation.
I wasn't specifically expecting anything. She takes the case. She kind of examines the fine leather on it, has an appreciation for such craftsmanship. Being what she is, and she walks into the sitting room, sets it on the table, and flips it open. Do you all follow to see what it is, or are you content that she has opened it?
Of course, we'll make sure that she opens it and gets where it's supposed to get. So, of course, we follow her in. Give her, of course, respectful distance, because what's inside isn't for us, but we still want to make sure that she gets what she's supposed to get, whatever that might be.
Inside the case, sealed in a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag almost, is a very old book. She kind of smiles in recognition as she sees it. She picks it up out of the case, kind of holds it up to the light, opens the bag, and breathes in the air.
Oh, I'm thinking this is something you're pleased to have from the face you make.
She smiles and says, "Oh, very much so. Kaiser?"
One and the same.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you see him before I do, let him know this particular debt is considered repaid.
We probably won't. We're not exactly high enough fish to get anything like that done on our own. But if we have the opportunity, of course.
She smiles and she leans back in the overstuffed chair and starts thumbing through the book.
Well then, with that being taken care of, we wish you a wonderful rest of your night. We have some other things we need to do. It was a pleasure seeing you again.
She looks up at you almost distracted and says, "What? Oh, yes, thank you. You have a good evening."
We will do our best.
And as her manservant reappears to show you to the door, you hear, as you were leaving out, some more screaming and stomping down the stairs, and the unmistakable voice of Baby Doll yelling, "And another fucking thing," and then the door shuts.
I guess that's a multi-parter.
Maybe marriage counseling or something.
Based on the hours of the evening, how close to dawn are we?
I believe it was rather early in the evening when you went over to Brooklyn, so you probably got at least half the night left. Travel time being what it is and all.
Well, Rick, I know this is spur of the moment, and we don't usually do such things, but what do you think we should do with the remainder of our evening before getting back to Shaba?
I mean, And we could do anything, you know that. I mean, I don't know what I want to do. Maybe we should get out of this building first, but we should probably figure out where we're going. Now that we have had our somewhat confrontation in front of spectators.
Confrontation? I thought that was downright communicative. I didn't, use any of the more vociferous language and more simple statements. I kept it politic almost.
I'm glad one of us did. But I mean, we could go back to Shava first and then spend the rest of our night celebrating. Or we can preemptively celebrate and then go see Shava. It's up to you.
We have this is a horrible idea.
Do tell. I'm curious.
But now that we're not being attacked, looking at it tactically, we do have loose strings. The ugly Ratu that jumped us. He has information. He's seen us leave.
Well, it's not like you can exactly call the cops now, is it?
No, but I'm worried about. Here's the thing. His pet already rolled over to someone out there in the dock. And yet he was so allowed to operate and live and continue existing. Meaning that technically he's involved, whether it's just through ignorance or through other facets. There's got to be some way to figure that out so that we don't bring extra heat down on Shaba when we get there.
What are you saying, since we gotta go to Brooklyn anyway? Gonna make is that what you're getting at?
It's just the right thing to do. We don't want to bring too much heat down on Shaba. She may be able to disappear, but she is sticking her neck out for us one way or the other. And this is the part that I hate to admit. We are still very much placing a trust in JJ by having taken her. We are still indebted equally due to our previous associations with her pet child. And the fewer strings hanging out there, the less chance that we'll be caught up and tangled up in them.
So, are you saying you want to kill Morgan or turn her into the sheriff? Which one?
I think we should find a way to talk to the Nosferatu first. See what it is that he actually knows and understands. And then make a move on that one way or the other. Make a decision on that at least.
Alright, fair enough. I guess it's back to Brooklyn.
You know what they say, no sleep.
No sleep indeed. And as you ride your little horsey named Paul Revere back over the bridge to a location that you've only been once, but it was just a night or two before, you find yourself at a familiar apartment building where you had murdered someone previously. Penny, you managed to check into a hotel, and I guess have a boring evening since you have chosen to check out into a hotel and do nothing. But for the other pair, you find yourself staring at a mostly dilapidated, why is this not condemned yet building.
It's Brooklyn. What do you expect?
There is a seedy criminal element about, but they don't seem to be paying you a whole lot of attention. You look like tougher fish to catch, and the path of least resistance is definitely in their best interest. The building has a buzzer to get buzzed in if you go that route, but it is broken.
Yeah, but we know where the fire escape is.
That you do. And you know that there is a convenient entrance in that.
So we jump, squeak the fire escape, make as much noise as possible. Not trying to hide anything.
All right, and as you get
While we're doing this, though, I'm gonna do sense the beast just so that we don't get snuck up on.
All right, if you're actively using it, there is a roll for that, but I don't have the book open because I'm an idiot. Just give me a second.
That was like resolve plus animalism, I thought, or something like that.
That sounds correct to me.
Princess Lyric, you must calm your mind. Trust the tea. If you're going to sense the beast bend.
Resolve and animalism it is. All right, you don't sense too many predators, but you do sense a familiar predator. He seems to be on the floor where you are heading.
He's definitely home.
Good. Hopefully he's up to receive guest.
And as you guys are being loud on your way up, he meets you at the window. Kind of covered up. I mean, he's a large individual, but his face is covered mostly by a scarf.
I hate to say it like this, but I'm glad that you didn't leave. I'm just curious. You know, can we come in?
Regards both of you for a moment and says, sure, I guess.
Well, you can come out. We can talk on the fire escape. I don't think that it'll fall just yet. Maybe if there was 4 of us, it'd go.
No, you can come into my place. It's all right.
We never did get your name.
He backs away from the window to let you guys come in. And as you come in, he extends his slimy hand. Says, I'm Bill. They call me Shitbag Bill.
I can see why. And yeah, it was a mean joke, but you kind of gotta admit you deserve that one, right?
He kind of waves a hand over his appearance. Says, I'm used to jokes.
What else are you used to, considering your buddy was involved with kidnapping, potentially trafficking, and, well, having a poor judge of what trust, honesty were. Was he someone important to you, like a boyfriend?
He was, my eyes during the day when I slept.
Oh, okay. Well, in the name of commerce, I guess I can work something out with you to make recompense for your boy toys, your ghoul, your indentured servant. How do you want me to address him?
He looks at you for a moment, almost in shock, because this was not a conversation he was ever thinking he was going to have. It's like, fuck, man, I don't know. I have to think about that.
Understandable. It's not an easy thing to put a name to it. How did that song go? If you really liked it, you should have put a ring on it or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about rings or anything, but he's been kind of weird lately anyway, so I guess you kind of did him a favor.
Right, so you weren't involved in his other businesses for other people?
He kind of, he did what he did, it's, you know how it is during the day, what do? I can't stop him from doing nothing.
Well, you could have stopped him permanently from doing anything if you wanted to. You hit like a fucking mule kicks, so fear of God and all that, I suppose.
He chuckles proudly. Says, yeah, but I mean, what good was he broken?
What good was he betraying your trust and involving you vicariously in disreputable things?
Yeah, I didn't get no blowback from it, but yeah, he was up to some shit that I'm not sure what it was. He was kind of dodgy about it.
Evasive. Indirect. I know what you mean.
He chews those words over for a moment and then nods.
So, really don't have much time, and see that you're very busy and we don't want to take too much of your evening. As you just said, you didn't know what he was really into. Do you happen to have an idea as to whom he was into or associated with, especially recently?
No, I don't. I know he was doing some contracting work for a few different people, but as far as who exactly, I mean, there was some other, when he points at himself, us rats that he was working for. I think he was hoping to become one of us. I don't know fucking why he'd want to do that, but yeah, I heard something about the girl. You said something about a girl, right? The kidnapping.
He kidnapped a girl too? Tell me about this one.
No, didn't you say something about that? No, I don't know. He had some girl. He said he had her in a storage unit. He was holding on to her. He was going to pay a lot of money.
He's pretty busy. Were you going to get your cut of his money?
Oh yeah, I was. I got. Just like you would tithe up the. However that mafia shit works. I don't know. I've never been in the mafia.
So he was working for both of you guys, because you're gonna get your cut like every good businessman is supposed to, right?
Yeah, but I didn't have any hands on it. Just he said I'm doing a thing. I got a girl in a locker, kidnapped her, and we're gonna get some money, a whole bunch of money. Some rich guy uptown's gonna pay a bunch of money.
He ever do jobs for this guy uptown besides the girl?
I don't know. He didn't. He did jobs for lots of people, from what I understand, but he didn't really elaborate on whether this was a repeat customer. I mean, I guess if he was smart about it, then that's a pretty big thing to do for somebody that you don't know, for money or not. At least in our little world. I mean, maybe among his world it'd be all right to just take money from someone you don't know to kidnap a girl, but in our world, you start fucking around like that, and then death is a kind way to go.
Does the name Chaz ring a bell at all?
He chews that over for a moment. He's like, yeah, that was the guy, right?
Yeah, probably the money man. It's weird that you said that he thought that he was gonna get made like you guys. When we had run into him before, he didn't seem to like the idea very much.
Yeah, I don't know. He was kind of a flighty, jittery kind of guy. It always made me wonder why anyone would pick him to do crime. Seemed a little soft.
Well, not everybody has the stiff upper lip necessary to make that worthwhile for anyone or anything. It is a weird question. With him looking potentially into the idea of it, I happen to know that what's her name? Sadie and Caroline Bench, they were, as far as I heard, making new versions of us. Did he ever have the opportunity of meeting up with either of them?
I don't know. I mean, those are some pretty fucking heavy hitters. I don't know that he ran in that sort of league. But maybe. You think that's the thing he might have mentioned, but who knows? Maybe he was planning to fuck me over too.
That very well may be the case. I'm just curious. Well, I thought, why aren't there any police? Why isn't the building locked down?
Oh, because I found him and I took care of that. Disposing of bodies is something I'm good at.
You do that for just anybody or just for yourself?
I mean, I do it for, favors or someone who wants to pay me. I don't just run like a charity door-to-door business or nothing.
No, understandable. I was just curious because, a good resource to have is a good resource to have. And if you're skilled, then you can make things disappear. It's a good resource to have.
Well, I mean, they always get found eventually, but, Sometimes I throw them in the river, sometimes I spread them out over a couple different dumpsters, but never close to where they should, where I found them.
Understandable.
He kind of gives you a grin as he reminisces of body disposal. So, I'd offer to make you some tea or get you a beer or something, but it's not really a thing no more.
Well, I hear that they got ways to do that. Unfortunately, we don't know any other warlocks who might be able to. Damn shame that. There's some days where a nice frosty cold one would definitely hit the spot.
Yeah, that's pretty much every day. I don't know no fucking warlocks. I don't mess with them. But I don't know. I heard from a friend of a friend that they kind of buzzing around their hive right now.
Really? About what?
Who knows what they get excited about? Maybe there's a fucking Quidditch tournament.
Understandable. So you don't keep your ear to the ground with, your cousins?
A little bit here and there. We're as tight as a family can be for, what we are and all that. But I'm not really a information gatherer, if you know what I mean. And he kind of cracks his knuckles into his hand there.
Yeah, but people let things slip all the time. The more information you are exposed to, the better you can make your decisions. The better you can make your decisions and all of that stuff that goes with it.
Yeah, I don't know. They just, what I got was stay away from that little clubhouse. They're a little testy at the moment.
But thanks for your information. Me and we'll just get up out of your way. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. If you need something, I got more 2x4s.
Yeah, sure you do.
He smirks and walks you guys to the door of his place and nods at you. As you turn to go, he shuts the door.
Looks at Finn. Did he crack a joke?
He did. Downright social. I'm more concerned about how much he knew being out here by himself. He let a few things slip. Nothing major, could be easily written off. But with us having learned that no one is trustworthy and there being so many people who are less than genuine, look at Rafferty and Matthews and Birch and it's not looking very, very good. The fact that he knew more than he should, or the fact that he just simply tossed away his daytime servant, his ghoul. Not for nothing, but even destruction of property has a value to it. He doesn't seem like the sort to easily recoup that sort of loss, but he's okay with it. You mean to tell me that someone who is a known disposal agent wouldn't be able to make a virtual mint? Or maybe I'm just paranoid.
Maybe, but also there is the fact that some people don't know how to advertise. Advertising is everything.
Do you think he wouldn't stand out as a body disposal out here in Brooklyn? Surprised that the local loyal order of the organization that can't be named wouldn't have him on their payroll by now. Doesn't take much. Not like it's Manhattan.
Old shitbag Bill did come across as fairly genuine, but definitely did not lay all his cards on the table.
Well, I mean, it could be the fact that the Hakata more run out here than maybe other people do, so could be competition. He can't quite keep up with them or whatever, or it's like your corner boy, you know. This is my corner, you can't sell on it.
Fair enough. But we've touched base with Shitbag Bill. What is your actual guesstimation for where that will end up falling? Do you really think that he is as innocent of his Du Bois opportunities?
I think he doesn't quite know what to make of us because of the fact that we came to him person to person and didn't attack him and seemed to actually give a fuck about what's going on with him. So maybe, you know, it's he's surprised, but I think if somebody asks him in the right way about some things, maybe he'll have a little bit of a, I hate to say it this way, verbal diarrhea type of situation.
Yeah. There's only so many angles that we can protect ourselves from anyway. I think we did the best that we could, smoothing over as much as we could tonight. Let's get back to Shaba and figure out if there's anything we can do there. Kind of pay our way and all of that.
All right, so as you make your way back to the Church of the Redeemer, it is again the foreboding sort of place. The sky is getting a little lighter, but you still have some time left in the evening. There is no one there, but it is easy enough to push the door open and walk into the main room. It is quiet. You do not see anyone in the large, high-ceilinged, pews askew sort of room. It's a little creepy. Don't know if you've ever been in a church when it is empty. A large sort of Gothic, Catholic sort of church.
Yeah, it's the only time that it's actually as peaceful as it should be. There's always a vibration from the other worshippers. The feeling of awe only magnifies when you're in there by yourself, or with as few as people as possible. There's not as much sliding across the Murphy's oiled pews, and there's no echoing off in the distance, growing smaller with each step. It's a good feeling, honestly. It's like being in a library before it's bum rushed by the local high school or grade school. It's that just insulated quiet.
Exactly. And if you were alive, it might give you the heebies in a comforting sort of way. Do you move around? Do you stand and wait? What is your plan here?
Well, we're dead, so we got a lot of time. Well, being a little patient, especially being as we are basically coming with nothing. At least till we figure out how to make that nothing into something. A little patience won't be a bad thing.
Alright, so as you stand hats in hands in the empty near darkness of the main room of the cathedral there, takes 20-30 minutes or so. It's painfully long, but you finally see some movement on the other side of the room. A figure in a hooded sort of robe. It's not quite black, it's more like a dark brown. It's hard to tell in the dark really, but as they get closer you can make that out. The hood is pulled up and they just kind of look at you as they approach.
Hey, how you doing?
He nods at you. He's a fit man in his early 30s. Again, he's wearing the robe. He pulls his hood back and says, "She's expecting you." Which doesn't quite sound like a question.
Understandable.
He nods and slides his opposing hands into the opposite sleeves. Begins to walk back the way he came, assuming that you're going to follow. And as we leave that image in our minds, it seems like a good time to take a break at 22 or 10:41 actually.
19 till. How dare you be inaccurate, sir?
So, everyone take a 10, and we will adjourn accordingly.
Hoorah.
Much to the chagrin of all, I has returned.
Uruwaha?
Exactly.
Let me check my dear.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
So, as you follow the, for lack of a better word, monk down the staircase that you took before and through the door on the right, you don't go very far, maybe 20 feet, and it's kind of a longer hallway with a few doors off of it. You are shown to the first door. He takes a key and he opens it. And he steps out of the way so you can go in. On the other side is a smallish room. It's only like, say, 20 by 30 or so, which is not too cramped, but not exactly a suite or anything. There is some sparse furnishing, a desk, a couple lamps, 2 beds, a bookcase that has mostly common sort of books, nothing esoteric or super interesting, with some history tomes and whatnot, some trashy romance novels, a complete collection of Stephen King works.
And no Shaba?
No Shaba.
No chairs?
There are chairs, yeah. Everything seems kind of old and well-worn, as if it may have been part of the church before the church was no longer a church.
Well, do you know what that means? We pull up a sit down and cool our jets until Shaba makes her appearance.
All right, so the door shuts behind you with an ominous thud. The hours tick away, and unless you leave or do anything other than wait for Shava, the sun will take you into the little death for the day.
This is the end of our day.
So as we rise for the evening, and we do indeed all rise for the evening, everyone would like to do the bookkeeping of rolling their rouse check and seeing where our hungers are. Penny, as you awaken, you have a fleeting glimpse of being in a park with your husband and your child and laughing and playing, and you can feel that warmth of the sun on you again, and then you awaken in a darkened room.
Clearly, my toddler's son makes me hungry. I don't know.
The beast rails against the feeling and memories of what it was when you were weak.
Children are tiring.
I mean, especially when they're all grown up and abusing their spouses.
Yeah, that should have probably been dealt with. You know what they say, spoil the fang, spoil the child.
So, for those at the church, you awaken to the same sparse lighting that was there. No one has bothered to touch it. The door is still shut. Penny, you're in a hotel room. What are Penny's plans?
Oh, she, get back in touch with her realtor. Rewriting a couple of letters that she left at home. Swinging by the escape room to check messages. And braving the upstairs because, a change of clothes would be nice.
All right. So as you enter your haven, or your soon-to-be ex-haven, whatever it is exactly, status-wise, the place where you live, or did live, or I guess not lived, there is the pillow fort built in the middle of the living room still. Nothing stranger about that. No more drawings left for you or anything. You notice that all the reflective surfaces in your apartment have become spiderweb cracked. Other than that, it's all normal.
Oh, delightful. She will take a few moments to clean up her living room and then go get changed and pack an overnight bag. Check her messages at the answering machine and then downstairs at the main answering machine.
There is nothing of note, just typical business.
Excellent. She will swing down to her garage and dig that other letter she had written out of hiding and take that to the, dead drop for that. And then just, go about her evening.
And what is going about her evening look like? Where is she going? Just kind of milling about, or?
Yeah, just kind of milling about. Maybe taking a nibble from, one of her herd or I guess, is this the same week?
It is, yes.
Okay. Alright, so yeah. Doesn't want to tap those out too much. So she'll, just be in her favorite little hidey hole room and, grab someone. And then after the drop, be just milling about. Probably hit the cafe again. Make a drive-by of the mistress's house.
All right, so stalking your family.
I mean, to be fair, I was at that cafe first.
All right, well, we will come back to that. Meanwhile, we will turn our eyes back to Brooklyn in a 20 by 30 room with some furnishings and two kindred who are waking up for the evening. One of them a little hungrier.
Both.
Oh, you're right. You had that big fancy block thing, and I missed the rouse failure. You didn't have the cool little symbol like everyone else did. I didn't have to read anything.
Well, I am singular in this regard, which is always a problem. There's no other way to say it. Being singular and having a defined sense of this, that, the other, and otherwise. So Shaba just is providing a place for us to lay our head. She's not. Or maybe it was just to test out what our responses to this, that, and the other might have been. Who's to say?
So after say 20, 30 minutes after the sun has gone down, as you're getting your bearings and whatnot, the door, you hear the sound of it unlocking. Not that you were locked in, there's a deadbolt that they're unlocking that's on your side, but you hear this door unlock and it kind of creaks open. What looks like the same man steps in and off to the side and just kind of waits there for a moment.
You taking us somewhere, or are we supposed to assume?
He keeps his head down. It's not very long before you see Shava in her wispy sort of robe step into the room. She's wiping the blood from her lips, and she kind of gives you an odd little smile. I hope your accommodations were suitable.
Well, you know, it's not the Ritz or anything, but yeah, I think we did okay. Thank you for your hospitality.
She nods as she regards you each in turn. Says, of course, I take care of those who seek me out.
Not to pry too much. No, too much more than usual. We know Brooklyn isn't the most civilized of places when it comes to these things, but how? And of course, I know you're wondering what does that how equate to? It's how did you become a fixture as far gone as Manhattan out here in the wilds of Brooklyn? How'd you make a name for yourself?
I prefer to remain unknown. But the Lord provides, and I exercise His guidance where needed.
And forgive me. Who's your Lord?
She smiles and looks up to the sky, says, the Lord of all lords. What other Lord would there be?
Connotatively, depends on who you ask. There are all manner of hosts about, and all manner of people who serve them. I was just curious. It's a problem I have.
I think you'll find, given time to study and learn and understand, that there are many different interpretations, but the end result is the same.
Well, if it can only be that sure. Faith has always been a difficult consideration for me.
She smiles and says, well, come. The first step on any journey and all that.
Starts with a guilty trip tour to a gas station and loading up as if you are feckless children with no regard for sensibilities. $200-300 worth of this, that, the other.
Given our condition, that's an apt metaphor.
I normally wouldn't consider impugning your hospitality that you've shown us thus far, but I understand that my compatriot is a little bit more worse for wear than usual. Wouldn't happen to have any aperitifs, appetizers, finger foods, so to speak.
She smiles again. Of course. We provide for our flock here. She starts to turn away and looks back over her shoulder at you guys.
Lyric unfolds herself out of the chair, being a little bit taller than the average woman, I guess, usually. Unfolds herself out of the chair and, like, stretches her back until she hears the pop. And then nods and follows.
She leads you back into the way that you had come the evening before, back into that little office. The monk, for lack of a better word again, follows you guys out, shuts the door and locks it to the suite there. And then he kind of disappears the other way down the hallway. She leads you through another door, which goes down even deeper underground, and empties into a large room that is not quite as large as the cathedral upstairs, but it is probably half that size. In it are several people on kind of with an aisle down the middle, split into two different groups who are kind of lost in prayer. There is a altar at the front of the room and a effigy of the Messiah behind it. She looks at you and says, "You may choose from the left." She looks back at you and says, "Go on. They know their purpose."
Lurks a little confused, but she just kind of shrugs and sniffs along the those attended on the left, keeping to the left, and just kind of like weaves her way through it until one smells good to her.
All right. Well, they all smell pretty good in your hungry state. None of them smell exceptionally out of the ordinary good or anything, but they are all definitely worth biting. They are clean enough. They don't seem to be in any sort of ill care. Nobody looks especially sickly.
Okay, so in that case, you'd probably go for a handsome guy, if there's like handsome.
As you reach out for him or grab him, he will stand and he will pull his hood back and expose his neck for you.
Lyric looks over at him like, this is okay.
Sits
A
down,
little awkward.
crosses one leg over the other, makes the international sign of, go on, you asked for this.
As you bite into him, Shava stands just behind you, close enough where if she breathes, you would feel her breath on you, but not actually making any contact. And she says, loud enough for Finn to hear, she says, "And this is the relationship, the symbiotic relationship we share with those who we were elevated from. This is our purpose. This is his purpose. Go on, take as deeply as you will. he will accept whatever fate you decide for him.
Inner lyric is panicking, but outer lyric is okay. She's kind of his neck kind of cupped, and she's focusing on how good he tastes and not how awkward this all is. Her significant other watching her with another guy. It's just weird. The whole thing's weird, and she's gonna have to be okay with it. She'll just knock her hunger down to 1 and then lick the wound close and pat him on the cheek. Thank you.
He will kind of stagger a bit due to the blood loss. Someone from the other side of the aisle will come and help him, followed by another person, and they will wobbly take him back to the right side, and they will sit him down, and then they will resume their vigil. Shava will slowly turn to regard Finn. And you? Your hunger does not call to you?
I got a handle on things right now. Help keeps you a little sharp, you know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
So, these, your flock, how long have they known what you are? All of these eyes watching this happen. They stay hidden here in the shadow of the church, or they got homes out there? Some of them bakers, candle makers, policemen. Or is this all there is for them?
They find themselves safest here among the watchful eye of the church. But they live full enough lives. They have chosen this. I do not force anyone to be here.
No, that's not the insinuation. Sorry if it came off that way. Sometimes finding your way takes a little bit of scrabbling, a little bit of crabbling for what lay out there.
Many of the lost find their way here. Some of them had nowhere else to go. Some of them had broken parts they wished healed. But all of them in this room have volunteered to be here. And they would have it no other way.
I don't know, have you given them a choice?
There's always a choice.
There is.
Each of us has free will.
Well, that is always the case. Most people will always shy away from that opportunity. Everyone wants to be free without any of the responsibility of decision. It's easy to say I would just tossed and turned by fate instead of owning up that you made the decision.
It will always be easier to kneel than to stand.
Indubitably.
She says, "Come." She walks to the front of the room, behind the altar. As you get up there, you notice another door behind a curtain, which she pushes the curtain aside and pulls a key out of her sleeve and unlocks that door.
Well, so beckoned, so followed. What do we got?
Meanwhile, we see Penny back at the cafe. You hear A smaller group of boisterous teenagers come in, but you do recognize one of them.
Is it Georgia?
Why it is. As they enter, laughing and being loud, her eyes fall on you, and she kind of hushes them down.
Penny will pay attention from behind her newspaper.
They sit at the counter. They get coffees. She's kind of divided her time between talking to her little group of ne'er-do-wells and looking over at you.
Neat. Penny will turn the page of the newspaper.
How close attention are you paying?
Oh, close enough.
You're pretty sure at one point that she snaps at least one picture of you.
Again? Crazy. Yes. Let my kingdom first dominate. Yeah, she'll just kind of let it go. I mean, public places, she's reading a newspaper, profile. Not too overly concerning yet.
They sit and they share some fries between the four of them and drink their coffees, and then they leave some money on the table and they head to the door, lighting their cigarettes as they go, and the act of defiance of you can't tell me where to smoke because I'm 16 and I know everything.
Oh, teenagers. Yeah. Penny will watch her from over the top of the newspaper, conveniently obscuring like the lower half of her face.
You see Georgia sort of back towards the door. She pulls what looks like an old photograph out of her pocket and looks at it, and then looks back at you, and then goes out the door.
I mean, it was the 80s. I mean, big hair was a thing.
It was indeed.
Didn't even have to be permed, it's just big.
So you do anything in the face of your granddaughter's suspicious activity?
Not really. I still have to go stalk my son. Kind of, been intrigued about why the kid's in Manhattan when they should be in Brooklyn. But, that's another story.
Well, that's the beauty of the New York City transit system.
Right?
Just a few minutes, you can take the subway to, anywhere. Though, maybe more than a few minutes. So, we will cut back over to the church. The door opens. It is a heavier door than you have seen used in your travels beneath the church. It goes down sort of a long hallway. You can hear the sound of dripping in the distance. It's kind of on the darker side, though there is light farther away. She just kind of walks silently, dragging her fingers along the wall as she goes.
So this this lovely space, you hear things every once in a while. Sometimes good things, sometimes just things. Anything in particular we might have heard about this place?
Are you asking Shava or out of character?
Shopper.
She kind of hums to herself for a moment, says, well, I would hope you had heard nothing about this place. We work hard to keep it safe. The best way to keep it safe is to keep it secret.
I see. But you have you have the guys up front. And, is it just from certain individuals, or is it supposed to be a myth only heard about in song or some such?
There are many eyes out front. The men that you saw were there to ease your comfort, make it seem more what you were accustomed to. Set dressing, as it were.
I've never been on a set of a movie, at least not one that actually made it anywhere. I was on what turned out to be a student film. It was interesting, the whole idea that the left side partner was technically the fiance of the Greek warrior, and how the judges dressed. It was interesting. I didn't think the idea of thongs originated back in ancient Greece, but you know.
She continues to walk. The hallway is rather long for given the structure. It's a good 30-40 feet. There are no other doors. Part of it looks like it's been kind of carved. It's not like it was something that was here when they built the church. And at that, you come to another heavy door that's kind of set in the stone and drywall kind of amalgam that's going on here. And she pulls the key out of her sleeve again and unlocks it. Before she opens it, she turns to look at you all. It says, you seem large on trust, so I'm going to show you some.
I am. Thank you very much for considering.
You wouldn't betray me, would you?
Why would that be a thing?
Because all of us are tested.
You know, I hear that's the only way to prove you got faith.
This is true. What good is faith when it's blind and untested? It's easy to say a thing. It's something else entirely to be a thing. Then she turns back to the door, looks over her shoulder briefly, and she says, this is where I keep my important things. And she pushes the door open. As she walks in, you can hear the sound of dripping. You can hear some soft, muffled moaning. You see kind of some sort of light source with a large sort of industrial fan blowing air into the place, so it kind of flickers. The light goes in and out as the fan goes across it. And you see some darker shapes, but it is, other than that one light source that keeps going in and out in a very slow sort of strobe light effect. It's hard to make out what anything is from where you are.
I see.
Do you follow her into the room?
Oh, yeah, it'd be rude not to.
This is true. But I am maintaining your agency. Maybe you go fuck this and run away.
Well, you know, it's the beautiful thing about fear. You can either face everything and rise, or fuck everything and run.
So, you enter the room. As you do so, she lights a candle. Of course, you all jump a little bit as she strikes the match. This flame is bad. Though it's just a small controlled flame, so not a big deal. She lights a candle and then another one. You can see the faint outline as she walks with the candle holder in her hand. That illuminates slowly. You see a man who is shirtless, hanging upside down, with his arms tied but hanging above his head. There is a small pool underneath him that is filled with, well, not filled, but has a good deal of vitae in it. She kind of walks wistfully by and drags her nails across the man's chest, and he kind of bounces a little bit as she does so. Doesn't draw blood, but it does leave red welts behind as she walks by.
Okay.
She looks back at you, says, "Wise Owl was very naughty. He will get what he deserves."
And what do you think that actually is?
Well, that's not for me to decide.
It's for whom to decide.
It's for God to decide.
Lyric looks at Rick like, Finn like, duh.
She moves a little forward into the room, beckoning for you to follow. She has a little deeper into the room. You pass several of these makeshift sort of poles. Most of them are empty. They all have like a little metal tub underneath them to hold blood. She comes to one in the back corner of the room, and there is another man hanging there. He has some sort of hood over his face. He's actually hanging the right way up by his arms above his head. Then he's also strapped to the pole so that he can't like thrash very much. And she looks back at you guys quietly for a moment.
Eric's just kind of taking it all in. She stops very briefly at each one, kind of sniffs a bit, committing their scent to memory, just in case, seeing if she smelled them before. Like, she's nonplussed by the whole weird kinky bloodletting thing that's going on.
The man that she walked by first, you do not recognize. The second man, she says, "I believe you'll find this of interest, if not satisfying." She reaches up and pulls the hood off. You recognize the face of Mr. Edwards. And it is at that point where I think our screen fades to black.
Dun dun dun.
Indubitably.
So, that concludes season 3. We'll be back next week with an epilogue. and maybe get some more answers before we go into season 4. Thank you all for playing, as always, and hopefully enjoying our little narrative here.
Death to the bourgeoisie. Yes, yes.
I'm shocked. But when they say eat the rich, I think that she's got a leg up on that.
They're delicious.
She is nothing but a devout servant.
A devout servant of whom is the question?
That is indeed a question. One that may be answered, or may fall by the wayside, never to be known. Depends on your actions.
Yeah, see, I don't like the way you said that.
Okay. I gotta go because I got laundry to do tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Let tomorrow take care of itself.
Yep. I need to go to sleep too. I'm still not feeling very well, but I gotta work in the morning or call in sick in the morning. One of the two, depending on which direction this goes.
What about both?
Okay. Right.
I can't call in sick and work, so.
However, if you show up and you leave, it technically should not count against your time out.
Well, if I call in, I can say no pay, so I don't have to use my PTO when I call in sick. If I say, hey, I just don't want to commit that I have to use PTO, but it's a weird dynamic we have going on there.
It really is.
So the answer is go in and I'm just too sick to continue. Nah.
Usually what happens is, unless I'm contagious or have the dreaded stomach bug going on where I'm just going to be running back and forth to the bathroom anyway, I usually just be like, hey, I don't feel good, so if you don't need me, I'm going to stay home. But if he goes, oh, I have something that you need to do, then I just come in and be sick.
It's true.
It's the dynamic we have, and that way when we're not busy and I go, you know what, I'm fucking bored, I'm leaving, he's like, that's cool.
You know, any port in the storm. Any port in the storm.
Give a little to get a little, you know. In fact, when COVID was going on, I called once and said I have COVID symptoms, and he said, well, I have stuff that needs done that only you can do, but you'll be back there by yourself. So just come on in and wear a mask.
True story.
This makes sense. Yeah, you're not gonna get anybody else sick. Go ahead. Hang out in the back. Die a little. Die for me, boy. Die.
I mean, it would be crazier, except, it's an ESOP program.
So yes, hopefully that was a good plot twist at the end for the end of the season. Hopefully that whet people's appetite to see where it goes. Hopefully I can deliver the end of it.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Looking like the deliverables.
But we may conclude with the finale in season 4. If not, it'll definitely be season 5. We'll see how much we or I decide to sidetrack on that.
Right,
so
it's fine. Oh, for the big party thing that Sadie was talking about, how many days out is that?
I have kind of lost track of time, but I think it's still at least a week away.
Okay.
So I don't think we've done any skips since then. I think we've been night to night.
Yeah. Just wanted to double check because I'm like, it should be a weekend game, but
that whole thing. Providing on how standoffish Penny remains, trying to bring her into the story, that whole thing may be irrelevant at this point anyway, so.
It's fine. It's all fine. Penny's just being, angry at people. It's fine.
Bitchy Toreadors.
Right?
These things happen. I guess you get used to it after a while. I guess.
Right. I mean, she's a boomer. It's fine.
That explains so much.
What's that got to do with anything?
No, like she's literally a boomer. Like she was born during the baby boom generation.
Yeah, but she died before her brain cells hardened and her empathy atrophied.
Or did she? I mean...
She was just cocaine-addled.
Yeah, so
No.
her empathy circuits are still there. They haven't atrophied. That only happens when in your mid-50s to 60s, where they begin to set into place nicely reduced and not repairing themselves often enough. I mean, brain chemistry.
Right, she was also basically raised by elders in the middle of a war zone, so...
Wait a minute. I don't want to put too fine of a point on this, but is her excuse Mommy and Daddy didn't love me enough because they were busy fighting for their lives?
I mean, she doesn't have a mommy or daddy.
Well, she was raised by elders. So her excuse is Mommy and Daddy didn't love me enough while they were fighting for their lives.
She has this guy who was like, yeah, I've been told to watch you. And like this other guy that she drove out of a war zone and became a hero or something. It's fine.
I see.
Penny stumbled into greatness.
Quite literally.
You know what they say, fall upwards.
Fortunately, you live in a society where having done one thing cool 20 years ago is all right.
Right, it's fine. Just don't screw up after that, you're fine. And she's trying not to screw up. It's just people that she gets associated with. What the fuck are they doing? Pissing off elders, that's what they're doing.
You ain't pissed off any elder yet.
I mean, you helped.
Yeah, but we didn't piss off an elder yet. We annoyed them. We're supposed to be annoying. We're children.
Besides, some of you are safe under the umbrella of Shava now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think many of us are actually children, but Finn is actually 100% firmly within the actual neonate. So, yeah.
He's still a baby.
Yep. He still is bright-eyed and hopeful.
Yeah, see, that all got beat out of Penny, like, with the first decade. She's been dead longer than she's been alive.
I'm just happy that we're finally on the first step of understanding why the Chronicle is named what it is.
Wait, the Chronicle had a name?
Yeah. Like, go fuck off. That's the name, right?
Clearly for Penny. But, pride is a sin.
It is. There's no denying that.